So Jaren Jackson, an outstanding player in the NBA, a big reason why the Grizzlies are number 2 in the West. However, a Reddit user has kind of sparked some controversy and was wondering why Jaren Jackson's numbers at home are like outlandish compared to what they are on the road. And he was looking into it and basically suggesting that a scorekeeper is fudging his stats. So what do you guys think of this? What does this mean for him? He is the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. So what do we do with this information, and what is the NBA doing in terms of an investigation here?
Well, it did seem like some NBA writers kind of did a deep dive after this came out and went back and looked at some of the highlights, and it didn't seem like anyone thought that there was true merit to this, that it was significant. So I don't know what to do besides pay attention to it moving forward, right? Like to see if this continues. But what I took away from it was the amazing reaction in the betting market. One book, for a very brief period I saw on Saturday, took the odds down. Like, what are we doing here? We're taking odds down based on Reddit users? Like, it just feels like the reaction was swift. And now I guess everyone's calmed down. That's a few days later here, Joe.
So I guess the most notable writer that went back and looked at every block by Jaren Jackson Jr. was Kevin O'Connor at The Ringer, and a lot of people ran with that. So, I mean, look, I'm not completely sold where I'm just going to am I going to go back and watch every Jaren Jackson Jr. block when I don't have any skin in that game? No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not going to say, oh, there's nothing to it, because when you look at the splits, the home road splits, man, are they stark. And I thought it's really interesting. And some NBA insiders have talked about this in the last week. The league is paying close attention. And Tennessee is a legal market. We talked about the launch of Massachusetts yesterday. Tennessee has been a legal market. So, things start rolling in your head. Like, okay, you can bet there. What if the scorekeeper has bets on Jaren Jackson to be Defensive Player of the Year at a number of sports books, and then all of a sudden, even in that market, you get a good amount of money down. That can mean something for someone. And every play that is borderline, they're giving him a block or steal to help ensure him being the winner of the Defensive Player of the Year, which he's already the favorite for. I thought the Athletic did a really interesting piece. And I learned some stuff about NBA scorekeeping that I had no idea about. The perception is that it's one person, right? You guys agree with that? That it's one person?
That would be my perception.
Yeah. And actually know someone who's a scorekeeper at Bulls games. And I always thought that he did it all, or maybe he worked with one other person. So for every game, there is a 4-person team just working on the scorekeeping. So look at how many people would have to be in on it, and the number of people that they talk to that would have to be in on this and keeping this quiet. There is an inputter. They're, putting in, okay, blocked by this person, rebound by this, assist here. There is a spotter that is calling it out, watching the action, calling it out to the inputter. There is a secondary inputter sitting next to the spotter, and there is a secondary spotter who runs the video DVR going back on plays that they're not quite sure how it went. So I don't know about what Kevin O'Connor had to say after watching all the borderline stuff, and he was saying that it's legitimate, the numbers are legitimate. I'm not sure about that, but after hearing this about how it's a 4-person team and the job of every person, and they'd all have to be in on it. And if somebody was up to something, I think one of the 4 would know, and then word would get out. That makes me believe that this is legitimate, that he just, maybe it's the energy of the crowd, whatever it is, more juice. He plays better at home. He tries harder at home. And that's the reason for the big jump in stats.
We also need more context. Who have they played at home versus the road, right? Like, has he just had more opponents that he could beat up on at home versus the road? I mean, we need more. But one thing I did see that blew me away, at home this season, his blocks and steals, no one's put up numbers like that since Akeem Olajuwon. So, like, he's playing at a ridiculous level at home, and it kind of led to this. But I'm fascinated. You know what he needs? He needs one gigantic game on the road. 7 blocks. Like, just to shut everyone up. Like, he needs just one. I think that will end this. But until then, people will
Yeah.
be paying attention.
That's just it. We've got to see more from him on the road. I think that's just so weird. Good on the Reddit user, though. It's interesting.
Yeah.